Welcome to Group 5 video. This video is meant to show you about Jack Ma and how AI affects his leadership. In this video, we will go through 4 parts. About Jack Ma, what is leadership by Jack Ma, how emotional intelligence affects Jack Ma's successful leadership, comments about AI in leadership by Jack Ma and others. Now we come to the first one, about Jack Ma. Jack Ma is a Chinese business magnate, investor, and philanthropist. And of course, as you know, he's the co-founder and former executive chairman of Alibaba Group, which is the world's largest retailer and e-commerce company. Ma is also a global ambassador for Chinese business and is often listed as one of the world's most powerful people, with Forbes ranking him 21st on its world's most powerful people list. As of 29 July 2020, with a net worth of $48.2 billion, Ma is the second wealthiest person in China, as well as one of the wealthiest people in the world, ranked 20th by Forbes. Jack Ma's successes have certainly defined him as one of the greatest business leaders of 21st century, and there are a lot of analysis stating that one of the elements making such successes in the leadership career of Jack Ma is his unique intelligence, emotional intelligence. So now, let's move to the definition of leadership by Jack Ma to understand more about him. When being asked about what he thinks about leadership, he stated that a leader should have a higher grit and tenacity and be able to endure what the employees can't. Leadership is nature, but you have to have a train and learn. Leadership is responsibilities. You believe it, but people don't believe it. But if you think this is critical, you should pay any price to do it. When you find so many smart people, my job is to make sure the smart people can work together. So we can understand that good leaders know their team members' strengths and weaknesses. Good leaders can identify which situation will cause conflict without skilled at overcoming. They also realize that conflict isn't always bad if kept under control. Good leaders bring out the best from each member of the team, knowing how to motivate each personality to achieve optimal results. Good leaders know how to deliver feedback in a way from which their team member will benefit. Most importantly, good leaders know how to build trust through responsibility. The next part will come to how AI affects to Jack Ma's successful leadership. Substantial evidence has been uncovered in the last decade indicating that emotional intelligence is a very crucial ingredient of making a successful leader. Goldman, the theory of emotional intelligence, introduced 5 components of emotional intelligence that should be adopted by any aspiring leader. These are self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy for others, personal motivation, and social skills. These components enable a leader to connect with and learn from the mental state of others and their own, and these qualities can observe in Jack Ma the leadership style. And the first quality I mentioned is self-awareness. The self-awareness competence of Ma was evident at a young age, and it enabled him to learn more than he imagined. In a recent interview at the World Economic Forum, he stated that those who are self-aware and address their problems have a possibility at success, and those who lay blame on others will not. Ma the childhood is an excellent testimony of self-awareness. As a 10-year-old boy, he took advantage of tourism boom caused after the 1972 recognition visit by offering free tour guides of his hometown Hangzhou. This continued for over 8 years, and during that time, he improved on his English skill and gained an understanding of Western culture. Ma credits this particular period has highly influential to his career, as it opened to his mind to Western beliefs, attitudes, and values, which was mostly alien to many locals. He likely to have struck high scores in self-assessment considering he was able to realistically determine his shortfall in English or high self-confidence by learning English in this self-learned manner and a high emotional self-awareness related to foreigners whom he had significant cultural difference with. Although he was young, this ability certainly had helped him transition into the well-spoken and inspiring adult he is today. In regards to self-regulation, Jack Ma showcased strong touches on most of these competencies throughout his life. It was evident at a young age that Ma was not a high achiever. He was noted to have failed multiple primary and high school entrance exams, rejected on 10 occasions from Harvard University, and was unsuccessful at 30 job entries that ranged from the police to the secretary of Kentucky Fried Chicken. However, he rose above this and ventured to information technology, where he founded companies like China-based and Alibaba in the naive Chinese market. The latter would go on to become his greatest success, built to enhance business-to-business transactions of small to medium-sized enterprise and help them keep a steady stream of income. As Alibaba hit its stride, Ma became increasingly aware of the responsibility he had for those businesses and planned ways to improve. One way was to reduce the unethical and dishonest transactions within its ecosystem with the announcement of Trustpass, a certification to showcase the legitimacy of a supplier or individual. These examples show that Ma has a high level of self-control, transparency, initiative, conscientiousness, trustworthiness, and unachievedness mindsets. About the empathy, it is shown through the activisms of gender equality in workplaces, believing that women can bring a sense of thoughtfulness and friendliness more so than men. The evidence speaks for itself as Alibaba roughly holds 47% of company employees as women and 24% of them in senior positions, higher than Google and Facebook. Personal motivation. He is a strong visionary and wants to see the globalization of e-commerce trade happening in Alibaba the ecosystem by 2030. His vision, coupled with the abilities to communicate effectively, influence, inspire and instill trust in the Chinese people to normalize e-commerce as another method of trade was the key to the success of Alibaba. This success was also aided by his ability to build bonds and inspire teamwork and effective collaboration. And these abilities are also linked to the social skills, the final capacity which Ma scales very well in. He enjoys fostering open communication with nucleus, senior management and all Alibaba staff for meet and greet purpose and collaboration regularly. This is supported by an all-like bulletin board system that allows every staff to share ideas and thoughts openly with one another, making it clear that Ma values open dialogue and strong team dynamics. Lastly, Ma has a common propensity to foster young entrepreneurs, particularly those within his organization. He believed that homegrown talents are more ideal than to look for talent externally, as often they share the same values of the company. It's evident from the leadership team such as Vice Chairman Joe Dice and CEO Daniel Zhang that they have been fostering to leadership over several years. These examples clearly show that Jack Ma is an effective communicator who can facilitate change and foster a sense of openness. Finally, let me show you some comments about EI in leadership by Jack Ma and others. Of the leaders with high emotional self-awareness, 92% created positive workplace climates. High Group 2010 Research Summary. top companies implementing EQ earn 32% higher scores on leadership than those who don't, according to the 2012 Workplaces Issues Report. Daniel Goleman, an authority on emotional intelligence in the workplace, notes that no matter what leaders set out to do, whether it is creating a strategy or mobilizing teams to action, their success depends on how they do it. Even if they get everything else just right, if the leaders fail in this primal task of driving emotions in the right direction, nothing they do will work as well as it could or should. The book and his subsequent research also determined that emotional intelligence accounted for 67% of the abilities necessary for superior leadership performance. Leaders with a high level of emotional intelligence are more capable of solving complex problems, planning how to use their time effectively, adapting their behavior to the situation, and managing crises. Gary Jung, Leadership in Organization.